welcome to the His and Her Show with Jody
and Alex Misiak.
And today we're going to talk about stepping out of your comfort zone. Now, I think if you're a parent, you've already done that at least once, if not more, every time you have a child or decide to have a child. And because it's the unknown. And for moms who have to carry a child, the labor part, or if you're adopting, the unknown of adopting, like there's just so much that's already stepping in your comfort zone. So if you're a person that's like, oh yeah, I play it small all the time and I don't know how to get out of my comfort zone, I'm here today to remind you that you already probably have in your life some shape or form. And it's to look at it as like, oh man, I can do this. So look at the areas of your life that you know you've stepped out of your comfort zone and know that you've already got everything inside of you to do it, to do whatever it is that you've been playing small in with life, maybe starting a business or changing jobs or writing a book or starting a play date group or anything. And you've got it inside of you to make it happen.
So really seize it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's just knowing that there are areas of your life already that you've stepped out of your comfort zone. And sometimes it's really hard to see that because some of these comfort zones are like things that you really want it, right? Having a child, you really want a child. So, and it just, once you get pregnant, you pretty much have to like roll with it. You know what I mean? So,
Okay, so this is like a message going out to people who are more
it's kind of everything about comfort zones. Like I'd love to hear because you've stepped, and I was going to mention a little bit about me stepping out of my comfort zone.
Which actually forced me out of my comfort zone. Yeah. So that's kind of...
So do you want me to start or?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so the past, few years, actually more than few years. So even before we knew we were pregnant with Anastasia, I took a leap of faith and I followed my instincts and I signed up for the SWAT Institute, which helped me, one, really become empowered and know how to do that. But also the thing I really meant to do was actually become a certified coach. And then obviously in that I learned a lot about myself. But that was that was a huge thing. I put out a lot of money for school. Mm-hmm. So that was my first jump. And then throughout school, keep going and going. And then once I graduated, I took another leap of business, like to start a business. And in that, like a couple months after I started the business, I signed up for like a really big coach that, was kind of expensive. And I took that leap of faith. So it's been constantly stepping out of my comfort zone. And in between all that, it's, reaching out to different coaches and different entrepreneurs and collaborating. And that itself was really scary at first. But whenever I know I'm going out of my comfort zone and it's for good, like I get these little butterflies in my stomach. And instead of being like, oh man, I'm super nervous, I think, oh, awesome. I'm crossing that line again. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. And whenever I step into my comfort zone, it's always been really good.
And you grow.
Yes.
Yeah. You've done a lot of learning, right? Website design, Facebook advertising, like all these, you've had to add in to yourself all these new skills as well. So so in addition to getting outside your comfort zone, it all becomes a new learning opportunities or multiple learning opportunities. Yeah. So that's cool. I like that you sort of turned the whole nervousness thing into like, okay, I know I'm stepping out. I have this feeling now, which is telling me that I am stepping out of my comfort zone. And I know ultimately this is a good thing.
Yes. It's a really cool, like, I can't, yeah, anyways, I'm like, it really excites me when I get those feelings now because I'm like, yes, I'm doing something that scares me again. Because I know on the other side of fear, like everything you want is on the other side of fear. So it's just going through that fear.
Okay. I'm trying to think of, I guess, yeah, so to play into that, then I've had to learn a lot of things that I wouldn't normally have had to learn if you hadn't, gone down this journey, which is stepping outside of my comfort zone in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Hey, honey, can you help me with this?
Yeah. Like, I have no idea what any of this is. Thank goodness for, lots of things. Google, for one, and then, schooling and all that other stuff to sort of help me think critically. Because a lot of the day-to-day stuff is, problem solving. So that was one of the biggest things I learned going to school was how to problem solve and find solutions.
So you said with me going out of my comfort zone, I made you go out of yours.
Yeah, absolutely.
So can you share a little bit about your journey or your experience or how you felt doing that?
Well, I think I didn't go seeking it because I do like being comfortable. So, but because it sort of ended up in our laps together, and I want to help you and support you, then it's like, all right, well, let's learn something new. Let's do something new, and for the most part, it's been fun. So that's all I can really ask for. I don't know if I got the butterflies leaving my stomach though. I don't know if maybe I haven't actually stepped out of my comfort zone as much as I thought I have.
No,
I've had to do new things,
yeah.
But I don't think I've stepped out of my comfort zone as much. So maybe I'm premature here. I guess I changed jobs a while back because I wanted to try something new, and I thought this was the thing that I wanted to do, and I was certainly very nervous because I wasn't being let go, and my contract wasn't ending or anything like that. I had decided to move on and try something new for myself, and that was scary and nerve-wracking, and like in a lot of ways I felt like I was letting the people I was leaving down. So I had to work through all those emotions, and say my goodbyes and all that kind of stuff. And I tried to leave on really, really good terms. And then I went and started this other job, and started the whole process over again with learning and getting pushed out of my comfort zone quite a bit while I was learning on the job. That's the big one for me, is I'm generally being pushed out of my comfort zones when I'm starting a new job with a new company kind of deal. And but that was really good to learn how that felt and how I could overcome it, because ultimately as a software developer, I'm gonna have those kinds of jobs. People would be like, "Can you do this?" And I'll be like, "I don't know. Let's find out." Or I'll figure it out kind of deal. So that's happened that. And then, and here I am again, deciding that, okay, I stepped out of my comfort zone. I tried something new. I tried it for a while, and it's like, ultimately I did not like it. Yeah. So, I guess stepping out of your comfort zone doesn't necessarily mean everything you want, maybe through fear, which is good. You have to push through fear, but you might not know at the end what you're going to get. But
you don't know until you try. That's another one. You don't know. Yeah. And you might think you want something, but you don't know you do or do not want it until you try.
Right.
So going for it, trying something new, you realize, oh, that isn't really what I want. And now you know. But if you didn't do that, and actually in that job, you learned a lot to help me.
Yeah, I did.
So
that's true.
in all, maybe that was just the perfect timing to learn something new. It's kind of helped me with my business side of things. And then you also learned in that that's something you didn't want to do. That's not the kind of environment and that kind of thing. You don't know until you try. And this is the perfect time to mention that. Yeah, so you step out of your comfort zone. It doesn't necessarily mean that everything's going to be peachy and rosy and awesome. Like when I said, I get so excited because my belly, it's still nervous. And it excites me because I know that I'm doing something that is going to grow me. I'm not staying small. And when we try to stay small, we don't feel authentic. So it's about growth. And when you get to that other side, yeah, you might have made some mistakes. You're like, why did I go after this? This isn't what I want. Or, man, I totally flopped on my face and that didn't work out. Going through it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be awesome on the other side. However, the awesomeness of going to the other side of your comfort zone is you get to grow. Think about all the mistakes I've made these past couple of years, going through business and different things. And if I focused on that, I'd get really depressed. However, I look at all the growth I see. I think about the person I was 1 to 5 years ago. I am a completely different person, inside and out. And yes, I still have lots of things to, grow in and really just kind of journey through. But wow, like what an adventure. And I now can look back in those years and be like, I didn't play it small. Because I think the biggest thing for me would be looking at, be like, man, I've kept my small life. Like, I think for me that's a really big thing. Is I'm going after what I want. And it doesn't mean that every day I do that. And it doesn't mean that I'm not scared. And it doesn't mean that sometimes I do say no to the things I want to say yes to. Because I'm definitely not perfect. It's just when I do step through that comfort zone, it's just like, it's empowering. Whatever's waiting for you on the other side, it doesn't matter. Yeah. It's going past that comfort zone that is the growth and the lessons that you learn.
Yeah, I think that's important. That was probably one of the reasons why I wanted to do that job change, because I didn't see a lot of growth at the time. So I'm like, well, let's grow in a different way. And it's like, okay, well, I did end up growing. Job may not have worked out, but you're right. I did end up growing. And it is important for our listeners to understand that you're right. When you try something, new, and it's pushing you outside of your comfort zone, you may not like it. Maybe I'm trying to think of something a little more relatable. Ziplining, right? People are always talking about ziplining, or so it seems, and it looks like one of those like scary things that you might not want to do. But what's the harm in trying? Right? Like try it once. Maybe you'll like it. Maybe you won't. But you won't know unless you give it a go. And that's one of those kinds of things that you can step outside of your comfort zone and through fear, and it's a quick thing. Right?
I do actually want to bring up a story, and I did say this on Coffee Chat a few weeks ago, or maybe even a month ago now. And so if you've heard it already, you're just hearing it again because you're meant to hear it. And it was when I was actually in the middle. I was on literally the last page or two of "You're a badass at making making money."
You're a badass at making money.
Yeah, you're a badass at making money. And it was all about, stepping in your comfort zone and just being positive mindset. And it was a really interesting book. And I was literally, like I said, on the last page or two, and then there was a knock at the door. And you went and answered it. And it turns out it was a guy driving around looking to mow people's lawns. Clearly our lawn was long. And here's a guy, like, I was just like, wow, he's stepping out of his comfort zone. Like, he's going door to door, first he's driving around looking at people's houses that need some help with some mowing. And then he's jumping out of his car and knocking on somebody's door and asking, like, hey, can I mow your lawn? Now, the first time he did that might have been really scary for him. I should have actually asked him. But can you imagine, you're just driving around, you knock on somebody's door? Well, for me, I saw that as a blessing. And I also saw it because I'm an entrepreneur. I'm like, wow, good for you. Like, he's looking for opportunities of where to make money and help people at the same time. And I was just like, wow. And so we took him up on his offer. And I think it was a win-win. He's making money and we needed our lawn mowed. And when I look at it, it's like the worst case scenario for him is that we would have said, no, thank you. No, like, don't mow our lawn. But we said yes, and he made money. Yeah, no, I think that's important to mention that he wasn't like a business. This is just a guy, just a dude, a guy that might have just need some extra money, and the truck and like some gas and a lawnmower. That's it. He saw a problem. He probably maybe needs some extra cash or something. Maybe he's bored and like your dad likes to find different hobbies, and he saw an opportunity to help people and at the same time make money. Like, that is awesome. And he stepped out of his comfort zone and asked people. So I thought that was really, really awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And when you're doing things like that, what's the worst thing that will happen? What's the worst thing that can happen when you step out of your comfort zone? For you, the zip line thing? For me, my worst thing that could happen for zip line is like that I throw up. Because I'm not a big fan of heights. So because I know those zip lines are safe. So it's not a fear that I'm going to fall to the ground. But my fear is that I'm going to throw up all over everybody. Like, that would be my worst case scenario there. Mm-hmm. So when you're stepping out of your comfort zone, ask yourself, what is the worst thing that can happen if I do this? But then maybe look at it realistically, because there's a lot of people out there, myself included, when you're like, what's the worst thing that can happen? And your imagination goes
bananas with like the worst possible things
then,
happen. But you blow it way out
when
of
you
proportion.
do that, then when you finally do that, then like, what's the best thing that will happen? Don't dwell on it too long, because if you stay in that mindset of like, what's the worst thing that can happen, if it's like you and you're like, oh my goodness, like you go down this dark hole and all of a sudden you're like down.
Yeah, like the worst thing that could happen in a zip line. That's worst thing. In my mind.
Yes.
But
then switch it around. Like when you find yourself, what's the best thing that happened? Like, wow. Like I remind myself, it's kind of like when with roller coasters. Even in my teens, I wasn't a big fan of roller coasters. I'd wait in line. I'd be so nervous the whole time in line, and my belly would like. I almost felt like I was going to throw up the whole time. I get off line. I'm like, oh my goodness, why am I doing this? I almost talk myself out of it. I get it on the roller coaster. I'm like, let's do it again. Like it's getting through those fears, those thoughts. Now, obviously I'm not talking about doing dangerous things. It's always about calculated risk and don't just jump off a bridge kind of thing. It's doing things that are going to get you closer to your dreams, your goals, or the lifestyle that you're looking for. So again, calculated risk. Don't just, go gung ho. You do need to keep a little bit of your brain in there, for like making sure you don't do like.
And you might not know which way to go, right? Which is why you should. Maybe the idea is you should definitely try stepping outside of your comfort zone to reach the goals that you want, but maybe you're not sure how to do that. But you know that just standing still, you're never going to reach your goals. So you got to move forward, and maybe you'll take the wrong path, like I did, and that's okay.
Taking the wrong path is actually the right path. It's a detour along to where you want to go.
Exactly.
Because if you didn't take that job, you would not know. You'd probably be in that other job thinking like, oh, I need to change. Like you'd still be in the same mindset as you were before.
Or worse. Yeah,
so
exactly.
Every path you take is on your journey. There's no right or wrong way. But if you stand still, then you're going nowhere. Like you're staying in one spot. Growth only happens when you move in a direction. Yeah. And if you move in the wrong one, it's okay. Just recalculate. It's kind of like parenting. All the time I recalculate in my head constantly about like, oh, here I had all these plans. Right. I had this plan here or there. And it's like, oh, no, recalculating. Like, because the kids are just not in the right mood or, they're sick or whatever happens with kids. And it's recalculating and it's okay. So it's about loving your way through the comfort zone and just realize that it's okay when you get to if you go through your comfort zone and you're like, oh man, what have I done? It's about recalculating and just instead of focusing on the negative, things that happened, look at them as lessons.
Yeah. What have you learned? What can you take away from this experience? Yep.
And if you didn't do them, then you wouldn't know those things. Those lessons were there to show and help and grow.
Awesome. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Well, anyways, we hope this helped. And, even today, if you just do a little stepping out of your comfort zone, maybe say hi to a stranger or wave hi, say hi on your walk. Because sometimes that's a really... Yeah,
sometimes somebody just needed a small friendly gesture. Maybe you just need to say hi to
I'm just trying to
too.
think of like any small things you can do today.
We got this thing in Canada where people occasionally, because we have lots of Tim Hortons, which is a coffee shop that has a drive-through, and it's more popular to go through the drive-through than actually sit down and have a coffee. But we do things that maybe you've never done this before, but there are people who do it. It's like, and you pay for the person behind you.
That's not really out of your comfort zone. That's paying forward.
It can be though, okay, right? Like if you're like, because some people are like, well. I don't want to do that.
That's
right?
more of like a random act of kindness.
It is a random act of kindness, but
whatever. If you want to do that is fine too.
Maybe you don't do random acts of kindness, and that would be stepping out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Take up a new sport. Pick up dancing. That was a big one for me. I should have focused on that one.
That was a life changer for you.
It was a life changer for me
because that's where you met me.
Yes, eventually down that road, I did meet you. So. That was a big one, but how much time do we have? Kind of gone over a little bit, so maybe I'll save that one for like another type of podcast along similar lines. But yeah, the short version of it is, I was scared of dancing because I was scared of other people and what they thought of me. And once I got through that, I realized how much I love dancing, which eventually led me to you. So I think that's a good way to dovetail that at this episode.
This is perfect. Yes. Thank you for sharing. We hope you have a beautiful day.
See you soon.
Bye for now.